A part of me wants to just give up at the age of 21. Sometimes I get these really scary thoughts that I sometimes even act on, and they're thoughts and urges of just giving up completely. Like everything I've built up before in my life, I just feel like maybe I just want to throw it all away and rot away in my room. Like, those Japanese hikikomoris where they just stay in their room, don't do anything, are chronically online and depressed. They don't exercise, they don't eat healthy, they just live off benefits and yeah, just rot away in their room basically. And it's scary because for me, maybe I'm not going I don't want to go into that extent, but sometimes I just want to like stay in my room for like a whole week or two straight and do nothing but like play games, play League of Legends and just spam games and not think of anything else. I get this, sometimes I get these reclusive thoughts where I just wanna be shut off from the world and not go to work, not study, just do that for a whole week or two straight. And to be honest, I used to do that when I was in high school a lot of times because there would be weeks after the exam, right? And you just have so much free time where you could literally afford to do that because I had no obligations back then. I had no work, I had no study, I had no bills to pay. But nowadays, it's just a constant cycle of going to uni, doing assignments, going to work, going to my shifts. Like it's hard to take time off. I rarely get more than 2 or 3 days in a row where I don't have anything, you know, due in urgent time. And it's really been overall quite stressful and taking a toll on me slowly because I just every time I'm just in the cycle where I feel like I can't afford to have time to think for myself and slow life down. It's always in a constant week after week, day after day, and I don't get to think and reflect on things. It just goes by so quickly that I'm gonna quickly be 22, 23, 24, and realize, damn, like, I was just 21 a few years ago. And it's just given me these thoughts in which I actually have acted on as well, like even recently, where for a few days straight I just did nothing but play games because I'm just mentally shut off. I'm like, dude, I cannot take it anymore. I want to just experience what it's like to just not do anything for a few days. And to be honest, it's quite strangely comforting in the first few days because you completely shut off everything. You're like, I have no responsibilities. It's as if I'm on vacation right now. I get this time all to myself. But then quickly, I neglect my diet, I neglect my exercising, I neglect my health, and then things quickly pile up as again, and I'm suddenly behind a ton. Like I'm so behind and have so much more to catch up on, and I feel so regretful for the time I wasted in that period. And it does take some friction to get back on, the good habits again as well. But recently, like I felt like, what if I just completely give up on all my dreams? And it's such a scary thought because when I was younger, when I was 17, 18, 19, I always was so adamant on achieving these dreams. And I'm like, I cannot, I was kind of in that hustle mindset, that Andrew Tate era, as cringe as it was. But I really deeply resonated with that back then. I was like, dude, I need to be successful. I need to make it by my 20s. I need to be rich, things like that. And the more the more that time has passed and the more I've gotten older and I haven't achieved that. Uh, Slowly, there's a part of my brain which always tells me, dude, you need to keep going, you need to, be productive 24/7. But then recently, there's thoughts like, oh, what if I do just settle? What if I do just, I don't need to actually make that. It's comforting. It's quite strangely comfortable right now, where if I just work a part time or work a retail job and just let that be, do that for the rest of my life. I can afford food and basic needs, and I'll live with my parents for the rest of my life. That can be a possibility. Like it is coming from a privileged place because my parents don't kick me out. They wouldn't kick me out and live on my own, unlike some parents. But still, it's a privilege. It comes from a privileged spot to say this, that I can do that. But that's just given me thoughts where I'm like, what if I do end up just doing that? Like that is a path. It is a possibility. Um, and it's right there. Like I can take that option right now if I wanted to. It's not gonna be easy to give up on my dreams and rot away for a few years, but it will be comfortable. It will be physically comfortable. Although I think my mind, to be honest, it'll never settle. I don't think it'll ever settle. There's always pressures from my society, the people I grew up around, and just myself as well. I don't believe I can ever do that and be satisfied with my life. I don't think the people who do that either are satisfied with their lives, but they just kind of take it in and just try and do anything to distract themselves from thinking of that. And I have been, in that cycle before where I'm just going to work, coming back, playing games, and then doing the same thing over and over again. And I can't see how people go into that lifestyle because it is, strangely quite comfortable in the sense that everything is covered for except your higher purpose. But that will just be numbed by all the entertainment, all the, you know, distractions of the 21st century. But for myself, I have these thoughts where it's so it's just like when things get tough and I'm just like, bro, I just want to give up. It would be really comfortable if I just did that. But I would just feel so much shame. I can never do that. Like it's how I was raised, the people I was around. Everyone's so career driven in the people around me, and they value their education. They value getting a good job, climbing, the ladder, making money. And I myself, I feel that too. That pressure for myself and from my friends and family. That if I did end up choosing that, I can never live down with myself. I can never live with myself making that choice. Um, although some phases, I do get into those phases where I just rot and I'm in this rut and I don't ever want to leave it. I mean, it's like a battle between my mind. I want to leave it, also I don't want to leave it. It's always a constant struggle in my mind with that. And I know uh, it's a very first world problem to have this because I remember going to Bali and a lot of people they do just they tell me they just work like a retail job and then spend time with their family. They're so satisfied, they're already so fulfilled, and I wish I could be like that sometimes because from their perspective, they're living a great life. No matter how much, what I achieve, if I still have these worries where I'm like, will I make it or I need to do more, I need to do more, I'll never be fulfilled, I'll never be satisfied. The person who like let's say someone comes from a third world country, their main problem is clean water. If they do achieve getting clean water and they're fulfilled with a life of just having clean water, then that their life satisfaction is greater than me who already has clean water, but I'm struggling with my purpose because purpose is something that I'm trying to find and figure out, but they don't really, might not care about it, or maybe they already fulfilled it through accessing clean water. It's really you'd rather just live their life even though they don't have that much all the technology you have because from their perspective, from their consciousness, they're living a better life, far greater life than you ever will if they they feel satisfied with it basically. It's really about your individual perspective. And from me, um to a third world country person, I might be really comfortable if they lived in my shoes right now. But for me, I grew up in this society where everyone's pushing each other to do more and be productive 24/7, then I cannot be satisfied living that kind of regular life where literally there's no issue with that. Honestly, there's no issue with that. And But yeah, from our society, there is an issue for your purpose, like what you think internally. Like, yeah, but we value productivity, being on top of things, being career driven, and I feel behind in that. I I cannot just escape through giving up. You'll be called the bum of the society, you'll be called a bum um from the people I'm around, and it will disappoint my parents as well. So I know I can never choose that option, although I just wanted to vent because sometimes I do dream of being someone who's satisfied working, like a 7-Eleven job and then coming home, playing games, watching a movie, doing it all over again. But I do know there is downsides to that. There is struggle. They're not People who do that most likely aren't satisfied with their lives either. So the only way is to continue trying, continue giving it all, no matter on days you feel down, on days that you don't feel like trying. You got to continue pushing on because yeah, it sucks being in that rut. It sucks not having a purpose or not being able to achieve your purpose because you gave up. You made that conscious choice of giving up. But yeah, just sometimes I have all this shit going on like gym, uni, work, and everything, and eating healthy, exercising. But sometimes I just feel like giving it all up because I felt like I'm already too behind, or it's just so much on my plate. And I've had those phases before, but I'll continue trying no matter what. I want to be the voice of someone in their 20s who already feels behind but trying to regain control of their life and actually put it to good use. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today, and thank you for watching.